Is next question is next question is to claim that company or corporation firm is always more effective than the department firm or organization is an outdated view. Real test of a sound structure is its capacity to balance decision autonomy, operational flexibility, and accountability. There is no ideal form of organization, public enterprises. No well defined principles have been followed in determining the form of such organization. So, three main form of organization, each with significance, are now utilized for administration of public enterprises, namely department, government company, and public corporation. So, department concern is the enterprise is financed by annual appropriation, treasury, and major share of revenue are paid into treasury. The enterprise is subject to the budget accounting and auditing control applicable to the government activity. The permanent staff of enterprise is recruited in same way civil servant. The enterprise is generally organized as a major subdivision of one central department and is subject to the direct control of a head of department. The enterprise possesses the sovereign immunity of the state and cannot be sued without the consent of the government. Now, next is the governmental companies. Okay, so the governmental company, the characteristic of this form as are follow. It has most of the feature of private limited company. The whole of capital stock of 51% over of its owned by the government. All the direction or majority of them are appointed by government depending upon the private capital. It is created company act. It can sued or be sued, enter into contact and acquire property in the own name. Its employee are not civil servant. It is generally exempted from personal budget, accounting and audit law procedure of government departments, and its funds are obtained from government and sometimes from private shareholders and revenue derived from sale of its goods and services. Now, next is public corporation. It is wholly owned by state, so it is owned by state, and it is generally created by special law defining its power, duty, immunity. So there is a special law. Okay, and as a corporation body, it is a separate entity for legal purpose and can sue and sued, enter into contracts and acquire property. It obtains its fund from borrowing, either from treasury or public, and from revenue derived from the sale of goods and services. It is generally exempted from not regulatory prohibitory status of application expenditure of public funds. It is not subject to the budget, accounting, audit, law and procedure application to non-corporate agency. Majority of the employee are not civil servant. Okay, so as department undertaking were considered as traditional and oldest form of public undertaking, organization is based on rigid rules, regulations, and sufficient autonomy. In the same way, companies form become more popular and public corporation is also considered better than department. It is considered as innovation, but in reality, it is not true. The organization which has the capacity to balance decision autonomy and operational flexibility, accountability, able to survive now. Public enterprise has to compete with private sector because not only effectiveness but also efficiency is required. Now, next question is the system approach. Is on the system approach. Okay, system approach is relevant even today. Organization and discuss Chester Bernard, David Easton approach. So Chester Bernard today prominently favored behavior theory, but at the same time emphasized over the system theory. In his book, The Function of Executive, he set out a theory of organization and of function of executive and organization. In this, Bernard saw organization as a cooperative system. Every human is constrained due to physical, psychological, biological reasons. So collection or group of person is required. That is, you organization as system where every part is meaningfully related to each other. Once it is made, it remains in existence till contribution, satisfaction, and equilibrium. He raised a mute question about one person contribution for others. He said it is not only due to economic aspect as Taylor had suggested. He will continue in the organization till his satisfaction. For the efficiency effectiveness of organization, the scientist's theory of emphasize more on mechanistic aspect. Human realism theory emphasized over humanistic aspect, and Bernard had given more stress. He said that satisfaction, contribution, equilibrium. This satisfaction comprises economic and non-economic aspect. Okay, now next chapter we are going to discuss about define the civil society. civil society influence in public policy. See, civil society is defined variously by different theories, but minimum definition would include the idea of non-state autonomous. So they are non-state autonomous empowerment of citizen, trust building, association life interaction with non-states autonomous sphere, and empowerment of citizen rather than subordination to state. Hence, civil society represent the realm of organized society that is voluntarily self-generating, largely self-supporting, and bound by legal set of shared value. A civil society is a non-state institution which cover a large space of society in the organized way. It cover the group which are intermediate between the state and the societies. Though it is autonomous, is subject to the authority of a state. The civil society is society made up of subjects which are politically conscious and know their economic and social political rights. So these society in this way prepare a corpus of those well knowledge person who can help the state in development program by participating in them and also by giving back feedback. In this way, society facilitate the people participation and administration, and the main attribute of civil society is voluntarism, not coercion. It advocate pluralism and reduce the over dominance, unlike India, where such a huge diversification is found in every society. So the civil society help in maintaining community moral system. That's why it has been said the democracy, particularly healthy liberal democracy, require a public that is organized for democracy, in norms and values committed not to its myriad narrow interest but to larger common civic. Such a civil public is only possible with the vibrant civil society. The civil society comprises of many social groups, NGO, community-based organization, trade union, farm organization, cooperative, religion, youth group. All these are civil society group affect not only policy formulation but also its effective implementation. So the civil society influence the policy making right from its formulation. Civil society act in a way that result is collective bargaining and address their grievances. The civil society help the government to identify target group for various development work. It helps decision making, and civil society is more near to the common man, and they have far larger penetration in remote as well as area. Related to social, economic, political fields, the government require people participation for their policy implementation. The civil society group provides the government that very channel. This group gives information to government effective implementation, and the government needs not spend huge resources for implementation. So minimum cost by using this civil society group, as this group are more flexible, effective than the government bureaucracy. The result is also great. So public opinion is something that government would like to know, as it's not only provide the essential information about the government policy but also tells problem, reason, failure of the particular policy. So the feedback mechanism proves to be the most important information, as effort by civil society are more economic and motivate more and people to participate in policy formulation implementation together with government agency. This will definitely enhance the efficiency, effectiveness and productivity. Next question is, right to information promotes transparency, accountability and working of every public authority. The 12th century belongs to industrial revolution. In the same manner, the 21st century is going to belong to the information revolution. So right to information to the citizen is great step in making above statement more encompassing and meaningful. In all free society, the veil of secrecy that traditionally showed activity of government is being progressively lifted, and this has had an salutary effect on functioning of government. In the most democratic country, the right of people to know is now as well as established right created under law. It is right that has evolved with the maturing of democratic form of governments. And democracy is no longer perceived as a form of governance where the participation of people is restricted. So right of franchise with the citizen enter passively between election. It is now a more positive dynamic content with people having a say in how and by what rule they would be governed. The right to information is part of public authority disclose all the information, document, evidence, notes to the common public in order to bring administration closer to common people. During last some decades, all the administration structure used to revolve around bureaucratic setup. The bureaucracy, in order to maintain dominating position, used to keep information under pillow secrets. This deliberate tendency of secrecy made administration system further to public and sense of alienation. The bureaucracy used this for serving own purpose. The closed model system organization with little movement of information towards become a nurturing ground. No corruption, red tape, self-aggrandization of bureaucracy, and so on. This opaqueness did not much harm to public welfare, but the right to information hits at a very core problem, making outflow of information from organization to public easier, smoother. This brings transparency, reduce chance of corruption, red tape, help in bringing administration closer to citizen. Similarly, the excessive obsession information on the part of bureaucracy with little information available made the organization unaccountable, irresponsible, and this made them at domination stage with all their action go uncontrolled and unchallenged. This was one of the worst form of bureaucratic superiority where they enjoy supreme authority. Right to information has a right potential to hit at the core of problem of bureaucracy-led society. All these developing countries in the world, RTI bring about a sense of togetherness with the administration, and this help in marriage of administration with the common public. The most potent solution is change in mind of people about the bureaucracy and vice versa. The bureaucrats hitherto enjoying considerable power and that too unchecked and responsive now tend to become accountable. This help realization they are working for people and by using public money only. This great helps them to open as well close administration mechanism. On the front of accountability, the realization of the part of employee that the working for the betterment of people make them more result oriented. This attitudinal change itself help in making them responsive toward needs of society. This become essential component in process of making bureaucrat accountable and healthy beginning for any society towards making service oriented. This is essential prerequisite for making them accountable and responsive. The main drawback of practice is that the welfare of public and bureaucracy as an alien. So but with right information the people can ask for information secret on one pretext, and they can ask for amount they pay taxes, what is being done, and what are budgetary program welfare taken against erring official. This certainly helps keeping bureaucracy accountable, help in promotion harmony, and therefore right to information is like sword in the hands of people which can be used both the goods and bad purposes. This right has required potential to promote empowerment of society at large and simultaneously reducing the evils of society, but utmost precaution must be exercised in its use. This act must be used only for good purpose. The scrupulous means must be avoided. Now, next question is what instrument of public accountability can be truly effective only people and their association backed by responsible media. So this question is on media, proactive role of media. The concept of accountability cannot be obligation of the administration to give the satisfactory account of performance and manner in which they are exercised power conferred on them. It may be meant to check wrong, arbitrary administration action, increase efficiency and effectiveness. Modern democratic states are characterized by welfare. Hence, government has come to play an important role in socio-economic development. People participation important for smooth, effective performance of administration. People participation make administration responsive. Bureaucratic accountability. Public administration is democracy, and democratic government postulates subordinate of bureaucrats to be people and their elected representative in democracy. Accountability to people and media is very important. So, people association media are playing an important role. They are making public administration more accountable and social, cultural, economic, ecological, technical condition. They are acting as a safeguard of administration authority, helping to reduce the scope of corruption, and they are also helping to identify the beneficiary, and also they are helping to identify program and right to information ambit of media. The proactive media has hence improved the citizen in exercising control, and the people association and media both act as the external watchdog. The proactive media help in expediting the reforms. So next question is explain the basic principle underlying citizen charter with a special reference. So administrative philosophy promoting public accountability and ensuring standard of public service. So first of all, explain the basic principle underlying citizen charter. So in citizen charter, you know about the citizen charter. So, Citizen Charter is administrative philosophy. What is the administrative philosophy of the Citizen Charter? Promoting the public accountability and ensuring the standards. First is philosophy. There have been a significant reform in public sector as wide range of initiatives have affected every area activity including the central, national health service, local government. A common feature of initiatives is drive to improve values for money. Amongst the more important individual initiatives have been the creation of Next Step agency to undertake many of executive function of central government, market testing and compulsory competitive tendering of many operation functions throughout the public sector. The transfer of previously public business into the private sector where this was feasible and the creation of internal markets such as health, education, replicate competitive environment. This quest for improved value for money has led to the development of range of efficiency. Within the context of benchmarking is one of the several tools which is increasingly recognized particularly valuable as a heart of many public sector reforms. Initiative have been philosophy that value for money can be best achieved by the separation of role between those who set the policy and between the purchaser or provider. This shift to more attract contract based system gives manager freedom to manage the operational delivery of service within the policy and response framework established by the political authority. Greater clarity of roles and responsibility had proved to be a key feature in facilitating improved performance. Within the framework, manager must have incentive to use their freedom to improve the efficiency effectiveness of the organization. In the private sector, this incentive supplied by competitive nature. Low quality organization will go out, and the majority of public sector service by contrast do not operate in a competitive environment and therefore do not experience the pressure to improve. A significant state government drive to improve the performance of public sector has been the creation of alternative means of replicating the pressure to improve which private sector. This has included requirements set up central government for local authority to put certain activities out to competition tender and for all public service to consider area work transfer out the private sector. So this is the philosophy. What is the philosophy? Like business, how to increasing the recognized particular valuable values and benchmarking and business to initiate private sector where is feasible and creation of internal market. Next step agency undertake many of executive functions, central government market testing, compulsory competitive tendering and many functional throughout the creation of internal market. So including the central government, national health service and local government. And within the framework, however, manager must be initiative to use freedom of improve the efficiency effectiveness organization. Low quality organization will go out and majority of public sector service contracts to operate on competitive environment. Expertise, experience and government right to improve the performance, and this has included requirements set by central government for local authority to put certain activity competitive rendered to all public service to consider area of the work transfer out to private sector. Now next one is as a experience. Next one is promoting public accountability. As experience with their initiative grows, the focus is shifting from specifying the use of particular efficiency tool towards allowing organization to select the techniques most appropriate to their particular circumstances. So they may be challenged to justify their choices. This freedom, however, is within the content of moving towards measuring and publishing organization performance and as a mean to identify good practice and encourage the pursuit of improvement. Benchmarking through this approach, the government seeks achieve continuous improvement of public service while retaining public accountability and service provision. Government at all level are now moving to reports their standard for service to the public at a transaction level through the Citizen Charter under the charter launched by the Prime Minister personally and run from cabinet officer rather than through a public service department. Each government agency is stable publicly its service standard reports how well it has lived. The quickest way establish how accountable an agency or person plan. What are your performance standard? What you trying to achieve? In the Canadian federal government Treasury Board has asked department to produce service standard for their major service areas. Start reporting performance against how service standard needs linked to cause effect relationship intended policy outcome. Performance standards are part of management control, which is motivation, bring about the planned results, control, and fundamental rules that are norm for conduct. to help ensure honesty and people compliance with the intent of policy, direction and law. They address performance risk to achieve each organization the lowest necessary rule that do not impede effectiveness and can be properly renegotiated to all round sound innovation. Next is benchmarking. So why we are going for benchmarking? As an efficiency tool based principle of measuring the performance organization against a standard, whether absolute or relative to other organization, it is used to assess the performance, expose the improvement is needed, identify the organization with process resulting superior performance with view of the adoption, test whether improvement of program have been successful. Benchmarking can be effective at all level of operation, from the conduct of individual process such as invoice handling to operation performance of organization with tens thousands of staff such as welfare benefits and delivery agency. Again, media is we discussed value for money is audit aim at economy and performance audit seek efficiency. Social audit goes beyond board to examine the effectiveness program, examine the statement with suitable strategy. Value for money audit aims at economy and performance audit seeks efficiency. Social audit and to examine the effectiveness. So value for money is a term used to assess whether or not an organization has obtained maximum benefits, goods and services. It's both acquire, provide within the resources available to achieving. Also often described in terms economy, efficiency, effectiveness. In other words, in an independent audit, not for profit organization, effectiveness and efficiency of utilization of fund it employ where to standards of commercial performance measure cannot be used. It is also called value for money, and performance audit refer to examination program function operation management procedure and not for profit entity to assess whether the entity is achieving economy, efficiency and effectiveness. Employment of available resources, the examination is objective, generally using structurally and professionally adopted methodology. In most country, performance audit of government established guide for conducting performance audit which explain how performance audit are planned. And social audit was regarded as being extreme end and spectrum of audit function. Social audit along with performance audit, economy, efficiency, effectiveness. As far as state audit is concerned, value for money audit and performance audit is examine area internal to government agency. In social audit, it goes beyond this area and examine the impact of special government activity and government agency. For example, social audit of Manrega in India. So now